I'm Leanne.
And I'm Tracy.
We decided to make a documentary to find out a bit about our community.
So we interviewed all different people to find out their opinions, and this is what we got.
Let's have a look.
How long have you lived in the area?
I've been here since approximately 1976. I think I was probably one of the first families that came into the area. At the time I came in here, there was only two estates. There was Moorfield Estate and Neilstown. I think that's originally where the area's name has. People have always said that this is Neilstown, and in actual fact, the whole area is called Ronanstown.
I live in Woodavens. It's in North Clondalkin. I moved here in 1985 with my two children. We moved from Ballymun.
I've lived here nearly 26 years.
So what year would you have moved in?
Well, maybe it's 25 years. I moved in 1985.
And did you move with your family or were you alone?
I just had one child and the husband. He's still there.
I'm in the Moorfield area and I've been living there for the past 29 years.
I'm Martine, I'm living in St. Rose the past 26 years.
So we're in Clondalkin, Julia.
Quarryville.
And how long have you lived there?
26 years.
33 years.
And what do you think of it so far?
Good community to live in.
Over 30 years.
Yeah, Balgary, and it's a dump, and I lived there 5 years.
I lived there nearly 17 years.
I started work in this area in '86, which is about 24 years ago. A lot of people that moved in here either came from inner city areas or from Ballyfermot.
Okay, my name is Eddie Darcy and I work here for the Youth Service. I've actually been working in Ronanstown since 1983.
When I moved up here, there was field after field, you know, and there was a very narrow bridge that used to come in from the village, and then we were going out back through Ballyfermot through the other side. Again, it was a very narrow lane, and it went from where Hairland is now down as far as Cherry Orchard, and it was just one narrow country lane. So the place was literally the country. This was the country out here.
You know, there wasn't much done. There was like kind of 5,000 houses built here, and we had loads of fields, handfuls of shops, loads of young children, nowhere to go and nothing to do. You know, especially when you come from a place like the inner city or Ballymun, where you have everything. You have a swimming pool, you have a library, you have all this, to schools that are only being built kind of in the last 5 years. I was lucky I moved here when the schools were built.
In Balgady we had no buses. We had to get off the bus at Hairland and we used to have to walk. It was like a country road. All bushes everywhere.
I said I would stay here a year and transfer back because there was no way I was going to live on the south side, for want of a better word. But after 6 months I knew there was no going back.
Like when we came up here first, there was no bus service up here. You know, you had to go to Ballyfermot or you had to walk down to the village to get a bus. You had to go down to the village to the shops.
Hadn't even got a shopping centre in the village.
No, we had nothing. We had little fans, you know, the little sweet fans. Yeah. That's what we had, and you bought everything, and if you were lucky and got to know them, you could get it by the week. Then,
there you go, yeah.
Oh, back then there was nothing in the area. Neilstown Shops was here, and that was the nearest shop to us at the time, other than a little caravan.
Yes, what was your earliest memory?
My earliest memory, walking through the fields where Liffey Valley is now.
Just plain land?
Plain land. Foxes, rabbits, cows and horses. You could walk from here, walk from Greenfort down to Palmerstown.
So was that good or bad?
No, it was nice. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the fields. My kids enjoyed the fields, and I used to bring other kids down on walks and show them the nature.
So we had nothing, not even a shop. So we had the buses from 8 in the morning till 9 at night, only from Monday to Friday, with no weekend buses.
I mean, when I came here 24 years ago, there was no building across the road, no community centre. The only community facilities in the area were the schools. So you had Neilstown School, Rolla School and Quarryville, and that was it, nothing else. Some of the shops were here, not in their present kind of shape, but lesser kind of shops than there are at the minute.
I tell you, when the prefab was here initially, it was a temporary church, and then we used it, and the Price School used it, and the community used it generally. It was the only building in the area.
I always remember going back to, it was either 81 or 82, when we had a fierce heavy snowfall. No, I mean, I'm not exaggerating when I say, like I'm 5'0", it was well over my head, you know, honestly. So people literally could not get out of their houses, you know. And I remember there was a bunch of us men on the road, and fair play, a few women as well. And we actually got shovels and made our way out to the main road. And there was a bakery in Ballyferma, and we had to queue up for, I'm telling you, 3 or 4 hours. And we got a big van load of bread. And we came back up into the area, and there were like vultures all around the van, looking for bread. You know. But you know, it was amazing. But we were literally snowed in for, God, it must have been, you know, a week.
I will never forget, as long as I live, in the January, it snowed, and we starved, literally starved, froze. We had no water, no heating, and as I said, there was no shops, there was nothing here, and I will never forget that as long as I live.
I was 7 months pregnant out here, dressed as a nun, going around collecting the summer project. And I knocked on a door in Moorfield and nearly killed some poor old woman with the fright.
There was, the youth service was actually what would you call it, a cabin-like thing, you know, and it actually fell down 3 times, and the youth workers nailed it back up, seriously bad. The loo could have lifted it off and brought it somewhere else and put it on a shore. But actually a great place, but very, very few facilities.
I think in those days, because nobody had anything really, and money was very tight, you know, and people struggled. You know, for me, the youth work was very much about, you know, being there for young people, someone they could talk to, someone that could give information to, someone that could help them out of their struggles. And most of the work was around drop-ins. I mean, there wasn't an awful lot of money in terms of running fantastic programs, or, you know, there wouldn't be an opportunity to make films or anything like that, because the money just wasn't there.
So people just came in the morning and sat and had a cup, I think it was probably 50 cents for a cup of coffee and a bun. Just came and sat and chatted, and it was like one big family, wasn't it?
And it was lovely.
It was a community, and there's no community anymore.
There's nothing whatsoever.
Volunteers gone.
Yeah, well, as someone said, like, you can't just volunteer anymore. Years ago, you could just come over, like, you'd be dragged in off the street, come in and help us with this club. We all done it, you know, or I'll give a hand here, there, or anywhere. You can't do that now. You've got to have police clearance, and, you know, it's all this, the racial,
men and women
all mixed. Like, it's
too technical now.
Yeah.
There's too much that has to be this way and that way and that way.
It's all by the book now.
We've set up community action on suicide now, and it's also in the schools where if somebody is feeling down, feeling depressed, that they can go to liaisons teacher or their chaplain in the school, and they will organise counselling for them in a house called Pieta House down in Lucan.
So this is very beneficial to the people?
Well, it saves lives.
Neilstown has something for all the people in Neilstown, so does Ronanstown. Balgally has nothing but a park. That's it, like, and there's nothing even in the park to do, just sit there.
Why do you think that is?
Don't know.
Because
it's stuck in the middle. Yeah.
What?
It's stuck in the middle, like, it only got, like, it's now part of Lucan, but usually from Dalkin, and it's just, like, in the middle, and it's like Lucan has facilities and Clondalkin has facilities, but Balgally is just there in the middle and has nothing.
I'd like to see stables.
Where would you place the stable?
The stables, I'd probably build them up along the canal. I've already been in touch with the council. I'm waiting for a response from them to build 130 stables along the canal area, where they would be divided up among the children in the area, and for the stables themselves to have their own horses there where they could lease them out, teach people how to jockey properly and go on tracks up the canal.
In terms of the horse project, horse projects there's a few horse projects around, one in Ballyfermot and one in Tala. Both of them are not working very well, and they require a huge amount of money and land in order for the horses to have proper grazing. So I would say that in terms of the opportunity to have a horse project in this area, I would think, in all honesty, it's probably very, very slim. But as I said, one of the great difficulties